First thing, we have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things, and so as a coach and the reps they get in practice, you just want to continue to put them in different situations. I try to get them all in to see who can do what, to see who can come in and learn on the go because the freshmen come in. Those guys are doing pretty well starting off, and the older guys, since they had the spring to develop a little more, so they're a little more experience with the offense. So I just continue to try to get them reps in different times and different points of the practice.
It seems like Dante has kind of emerged as kind of an all-purpose guy for you guys. What do you see from him? What does he do well?
Dante has been a big surprise from the spring. Switching him back from receiver, coming back and just being permanent at running back. He's doing very well, very fast. I think his weight went from 172 or 178 to 190. He's doing really well in the classroom. Just his whole personality as a football player has changed. He's tough. He can protect really well. He's got a chance to do a lot of things, in the backfield and also at receiver position and in the slot. So we'll see what he can do this year. It's going to be a big year for him.
Dante, what was that? How did that decision go to bring him back to?
Well, you can just tell. It's just natural movements. It's different. Coming back from receiver to running back is two different types of movements that you'll see in a player, and most of his movements are running back. And so you could see him, he could catch the football, but it wasn't natural to him. And the biggest thing for most of the guys is to make sure whatever position they naturally fit into and continue to work him because he felt more comfortable, and you could see it day one. And he continued to just blossom, and more than anything, I'm just proud of him, the type of person he is and his character and how he's acting as a young man. He's really mature, and he's really trying to learn. He's thirsty to try to learn, and so that's good for him.
When you look at the entire group of 7 or 8 guys that you have over there, do you divide any of them up into, hey, maybe he's better off as a situational guy, or these guys are every down backs, that type of thing?
Well, that's the thing. As a coach, you have to know your group, and so sometimes you'll put guys in different situations, and sometimes I want to put them in the situation that they're not. Because if a guy is just doing situational stuff and then in the game he has to do a 3rd and 1 or he has to do a goal line situation, he has to be ready for it all. And so it's up to our coaches and how Coach Collins has practiced. All of them get reps in every period. And so it's good for me to see it. And sometimes you want certain guys to go on certain plays because I want to see certain things to see how they adjust. But most importantly, man, I just try to get them in there and get them going, and get them ready.
Sorry. The guy that surprised me probably the most that I've watched is Devin Ellison, who's a guy who's maybe not as talked about as some of the other 2 freshman running backs. What is he doing well? What's kind of caught your eye?
First, he dominated the summer condition. He came in. The kid is very mature, come from a great family, worked his tail off in the off season. Just continue to show up every single day working out, and then when you get him in the football game and you see him in practice, he understands protections. He knows a lot of things. It's just coming in, being here 2 weeks, the kid knows most of the playbook. And so when he makes a mistake, he come and tell you. He can tell you what he did wrong, and he works his tail off. And so as long as he continue to do the work, he continue to learn, he have opportunity to play. Because everything we do here is above the line, and that kid is working his tail off. So if he does well, he's going to have an opportunity to go.
Mason and Howard are 2 guys that play with their hand on the ground closer to the line of scrimmage. Now they're lining up next to the quarterback further away from the line of scrimmage. Do they look more comfortable in the new situation?
Absolutely. JP's look very good this whole summer, and coming off of just changing from spring to summer and the summer condition and coming back and being here in the fall. The first thing I'll tell you, Roddy, he is very comfortable. Being comfortable doing it, all those practices that we had and coming back and having the confidence to do it. You can see him in his blitz protecting and Jerry as well. They look better, more confident, understanding IDs, who you have to block in protection, and understanding their reads and their run fits. And so I'm just trying to continue to get them reps because August 29th ain't number 2 or 3 weeks away, so we got to be ready to roll. And so I'm just trying to get them more comfortable in that situation.
When you're rolling guys in practice, it almost seems like it's play-by-play. And obviously there's different ways to do it, but what's kind of your philosophy in shuttling in?
It just depends. Like sometimes in run and team run or different periods, I want them to finish, practice on finishing their run. And so that's the biggest deal because most of the time backs get in practice and they run 15 yards and come back for the next play. But then when you get in opportunities in the game, they're not used to it. And so the biggest thing in practice is to get them going so they go hard as they can for 1 rep, come back and get another one hard as they can so they can work on using their offhand, work on finishing, and finishing in the end zone. It's probably one of the biggest things or traits that you can have as a runner, because in the NFL you have 3 or 4 reps and you gotta finish, but then you gotta jog back and go to the next rep. And so it's just that mentality, getting the guys to know when you run in practice, treat it like it's a game, because in the game they're gonna break runs, and in the game I wanted to be used to it. But when in different periods, like if I'm going blitz, I want give them 2 or 3 reps so they can actually have a chance to see different looks, so they can work on their pass pro.
You talk about getting these guys comfortable in all these situations, and Coach Patton has said multiple times that he wants to use them all over in multiple different ways. So
Right.
when it comes to cross-training these guys, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis for you?
The biggest thing is, like, once I get them and we talk about it, a lot of the guys in the room, Nate Cottrell, Dante, Devin that you mentioned, them guys can do a little bit of both. And so once we go on the board and we install new plays, I always make sure they have an emphasis on understanding the whole play, not just what the running back is doing, because in certain sets they both could be in the game, and I want them both to understand, like, look, you got to understand what we're running out here. You got to know what plays we're running, and so they can be on the game, because our best players got to play. And so it don't matter if it's 2 backs, or 1 back, or no backs at all. It's just important that they all understand the whole scheme and what Coach trying to do.
Coach Bendo talked about wanting 2 back sets, and that seems to be a real strength. Is that where you can get in a situation where you might have 7 guys dressed or something like that in a game?
Yeah, it's, that's the biggest deal. We'll see once we get closer, but if they can do multiple things, they give themselves more opportunity to get on the football field. And so position flexibility, doing that, and also playing special teams, those are ways that you get on the bus, ways you get a chance to play. So that's why I stress to the guys to take special teams seriously, and also when you're on offense, to make sure you know what we're doing as a whole. Because when coach know that you know what you're doing at receiver, he has more confidence in you putting you in the game. And so that's the biggest deal.
I know that there's a lot made about being above the line and getting to play. And I was also, like, with running backs, there's a school of thought of wanting to get in a rhythm. I'm curious, just kind of, like, what's the most number of backs you could, like, have at tailback in a game and feel like that guys be productive?
And that's a good question, Ken. The biggest thing, and I'm going to tell you the truth, most of the time in a game, you usually get 3 guys in, 2, maybe 3.
Right.
And so that's why it's important that the guys be ready, because you never know what happens in front of you. And most of the time, 2 guys, you want, like you said, you want to give them a rhythm so they can understand the game, because it's different from practice. But the biggest deal is you want them guys to understand if something does happen, you got to be ready for the moment. And so that's why in practice we try to give them a lot of reps, and you try to keen in, and once we get out of the scrimmage, you hone down on that number even more, because it's coming even more. So as we continue to practice and we continue to go into camp, it's going to be very important that the guys to see who makes the least amount of mental mistakes and who can be productive. You know what I mean? Be playmakers on the field for me.
What have you seen from Griffin and Emerson?
Tony is a guy. He's been doing a lot of good things. He's very coachable. He's learning, you know what I mean? Sometimes the freshman got a little curve to get over, being here and how we practice and the different ways that we go about it. But the kid he works in his tail off. He's very coachable, and I love that. And so when freshmen come in, the biggest thing is for them to understand, okay, listen to the coach, try not to make the same mistakes over and over again, and let's see how we can get better. And Jamize is doing some good things. He flashes at times, but the mental errors and doing little certain things, we got to eliminate those. And you expect those from freshmen. So it's up to me to coach them, to get them so they won't do that, because in certain situations they have to play, they're going to have to be ready to go.
There was a play in practice today. It was in the indoor. And I think Jerry had a blitz pickup. He seemed like really excited about it. I'm curious kind of what went into just that.
Because, see, in our room, the first thing is to make sure you protect the football. The second is protect the quarterback. I really don't rave about yards. I really don't rave about runs. I really won't get excited. But when you pick up a blitz, what Coach Collins talking about, the culture that you have, I think that's what blocking is, for somebody else to get the glory. So the receivers, the quarterbacks. And so being part of that offensive line unit when you step up and block somebody, being selfless, you know what I mean? That's one of the things I want, and it's tough because you're not getting the football. A lot of people don't like to block, but I love to block. And so when they do it, I want them to see my excitement for them blocking more than they'll see my excitement for them running. It's just one of those things. So when they look at coach and say, oh, man, coach is excited, so they know it means something to them. And if that's the case, then they'll be, more adequate in doing it. So, because it's hard, but I love it. The better you are blocking, the better you get your chance opportunity to get in the NFL, so everybody can run. Some people got to block,
Jerry seems like a guy who's getting more comfortable. He was a north-south, just kind of straight ahead runner. And Seems like he looks more comfortable with his cuts and kind of his role in this offense. Kind of what have you seen from him?
The last 2 days has been better. Today he looked well. I think on Saturday as well, he picked it up, and so he's coming. You know, he started off a little slow, but now he's ready to roll. The biggest thing for Jerry is to make sure he stay in the moment, not to just focus on the game of football. He runs hard. He's a great kid, great family, and so it's just up to me to just continue to get him to be physical, to be tough, and all those little things that I'm asking, because I ask for a lot. Some of it I know they can't do, but I still ask for it. I still want the best out of them, so every single one of them, I push their buttons every day to try to get the most out of them, and hopefully it'll pay off in the end.
With some of the younger guys like an Emerson or Ellison, will you try to take advantage of the new redshirt rule, maybe as the season goes on, when you have the opportunity to get them into a game so they can feel what it's like?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be that, and that's the thing. You know, you never know how the season going to go, and so you go into game one and you try to see which guy, because it's nothing like I can see it on the scrimmage, you can see it on the practice field, but it's different when it's live bullets and it's game time. And so I like what they're doing right now. And they definitely gonna have a time in the year that they're gonna have to get on the football field. And so with that new red shirt rule, they get to play 4 games. They're definitely gonna get in 4 games. I don't know what 4 games, but how they do would depend on, you know, how they go on from this year on to next year. And so it's important for them in their development.
With Christian, it seems like he's kind of the lost guy in terms of just fans and stuff not realizing. It seems like he's a guy who could be in the 2 deep anywhere.
Oh yeah, Malloy has done very well. He's very smart. Understanding the defensive schemes, he's good in blitz pickup, and he's running the ball well. You know, so don't count out Christian Malloy. He had a good spring. I was thankful we got him back at the end of spring, and then now he's been here the whole camp working his tail off. And so it's gonna be interesting to see how well they do on Saturday, because they're gonna have to compete. So our position is very competitive. We got a really good room, really a lot of talent. So the cream got to rise to the top, and so somebody's got to pick their game up so we'll know who our guy is going to be.
Nate made the decision to come back to y'all's room. Kind of what's that been like for you guys? And
Awesome. I love Nate Cottrell. His whole senior campaign is going to be an awesome year. How he's been practicing, his speed, how fast, how big he's gotten. You can just tell he's convicted by the coach and what Coach Collins has inscribed in them guys, and he's one of the core guys. And so playing on special teams, doing a lot of different things in the offense, because he is flexible, doing things out the receiver and doing things at the running back position, and he's tough, he's gritty. And so you have somebody like that, you can't take anything away from him. So as a senior, I'm so proud of him and OJ. Both of them guys having a chance to do a little bit of both. It's going to be interesting to see how they do this senior year.